The Fellowship of Guelphissauga continues with the Stench from the WEF Smart City office and the search for the lost Rodrigo of Gawler. This weekend, the Ghost of Mondex Past flew around the Shire, hitting the Stone Road Mall area with its first cyber attack. The mayor ignored it, along with the WEF's Stench, and teamed up with his dubious business associate to find Rodrigo, who was lost in the Westminster Woods. Carly of Classen and the Elder Elves were instead trying to devise a plan to deal with the WEF's putrid smell. Can the Council of Elders clear the air of the WEF's Smart City stench and find Rodrigo before spring? Carly and the Elder Elves weren't worried about Rodrigo, since he is a grown man and could take care of himself. They were more concerned about dealing with the WEF's putrid stench still billowing across the Shire. After the protest at the Administrative Formality meeting, Carly returned to Sir Edward of Bench to brainstorm ideas. She arrived at the bench to find Sir Edward fighting the fire still burning at 90 Carden Street and helping the trolls breathe. The WEF's vile stench got so overbearing that the trolls downtown were cutting masks out of Kirtida kitchen takeout containers to cover their faces. The sweet scent of delicious curry was just enough to make breathing bearable for the trolls. Carly eventually had to join in and grabbed her own takeout container. While picking carrot pieces out of the container, an idea hit her like an apple on her head. Community gardens. A garden full of fruit trees, herbs, and vegetables would help solve several problems at once. A community garden will clean the air of the smart city stench, have net zero waste without the need for carbon credits, and can feed the trolls outside of the circular economy matrix. If only she could grow the gardens by this spring, then it would help counter the WEF's carbon credit digital currency pilot starting then. Carly ran with the idea and had a hand-drawn design made and proposed its location for Aramosa River Park. The proposal is in the description below, and she is looking for feedback by March 15th. But unknown to Carly, the WEF's Smart City office already had a counter strategy ready to play against community gardens. Hiding their reverse Uno card in plain sight, they instead focused on finding the lost Rodrigo of Gawler. The mayor and his dubious business associates joined the search since they needed Rodrigo's vote to approve the next Tower of Sauron proposal. But like most of their projects, they only wanted to spend money instead of putting in time and effort. The mayor called his friends in Ukraine for support with setting up a virtue smoke signaling event downtown. The DBA obtained $500,000 in funding from the feds to build search spotlights at night, with the extra benefit of distracting the Ghost of Mondex Past and its cyber attacks against the Smart City office. The mayor hoped that the combination of the virtue smoke signaling and elaborate lighting would help guide Rodrigo of Gawler home, wherever he was. Meanwhile, in the Westminster Woods, Rodrigo headed west into the unknown. He eventually arrived at the bus stop where the previous gang of students had ran off to. But there is already another group of students forming there, so Rodrigo approached them slowly. Learning from his earlier mistake, Rodrigo didn't talk to the students IRL, and they left him alone. They figured he was just another cosplayer dressing as Randy Bobandy, which was common for that guy at the GriffCon. The bus arrived, and Rodrigo snuck on with the crowd through the back door. Finding that sweet spot in the back corner of the bus, Rodrigo took a seat and hoped he was on the correct bus back to Ward 2. But Rodrigo of Gawler got too comfortable in that sweet corner seat and passed out. He slept through the whole day while riding the bus, snoring loudly with his spiked codpiece hanging out. Later that night, Jeff the bus driver shouted, "Last stop," and Rodrigo got woken up, realizing he had passed out. Before he could fully awaken from his long sleep, Rodrigo found himself being escorted off the bus. All he could recall hearing is "Go home, Carlos," as he was tossed to the curb. Did Rodrigo of Gawler take the correct bus out of Westminster Woods? Stay tuned to see.